welcome to the lobby, GameSpot's weekly hangout every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Pacific, right here on videogames.com. And the electronic triple is only 7 days away. And if you're watching last week's show, you'll know that we are counting down our predictions for what all those delicious conferences are going to be showing us all next week. We got through 4. There's 4 left to talk about, so we had to bring in the ringers from the UK and AU to tell us all the hot scoops. Tamor Hussein.
What up?
Lucy James.
Hey.
Jess McDonald.
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming in. First section, we're talking about Sony. It's on next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time here, which is crazy o'clock over in the UK. It's like you got to stay up until 2 a.m.
That's why we came here.
To watch that pop. That's why. We got a big list of games to get through. First of all, let's talk about first-party stuff that we know is definitely happening. Lucy, Uncharted 4, excited?
Finally.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, it got pushed into next year, so that means that surely they must have something really good for this E3. We obviously saw, like, was that 15-minute thing of gameplay that they showed?
PlayStation experience.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was good.
That was something. That was substantial.
I liked it, and it was so Uncharted. But it was just when Strelly was saying, like, it's more open now and there's way more ways to approach things. I was like, oh, finally. You know, not just the one determined path.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about that. I'm also very excited to get just more Nathan Drake.
It's the Last of Us guys doing that, right?
Yeah.
So
That's that Naughty Dog.
that's something to care about. Yeah.
What, they went from 3 to Last of Us to 4.
You just think about all the things they must have learned making The Last of Us that they could bring into Uncharted 4.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed we'll see a big demo of that. So that's the sort of the open end of the spectrum in terms of gameplay design. Let's rein it back in a little bit. Until Dawn. I've played a little bit of this at the PlayStation experience. Jess McDonald, you've played a bunch of it as well.
The Aussie team went and saw a bunch of this at this Australian conference that no one will know the name of. So
What's it called?
EB Expo.
Oh, the Electronics Boutique.
Oh, you did?
I've heard of that, yeah. They used to have them in the UK and Ireland, so it's
so this was in Sydney last year, and we saw a bunch of it. So it's very like a B horror movie. Maybe C or D. It's really, it's the cinematic. Well, no, I mean, that's what they're going for. They're going for, it's the movie feel. I mean, you can see it. It's kind of everything that's mocked in, like, Cabin of the Woods, but taken seriously.
Yeah.
And that's the experience they want to create for the player. So that's kind of what you've got. You've got the jump scares and the wandering around a house, and you're carrying a torch. It's all very much what you'd expect.
Play like multiple characters, so you're the cheerleader and the sort of jockey one, and apparently like entire characters can die. Apparently they're going for a very like replay value thing with this one.
Yeah, you have to be kind of careful because there is player choice there, and it's kind of like if you don't want to screw up and lose somebody forever, then you need to be a little careful about the things that you're going to do. So you can decide how to approach a situation, whether you want to like if a guy's got you, if he's caught you, you can struggle to get free, or you can try and fight your way out of it. You can choose to shoot a gun to perhaps
by
escape
pressing
the
X
situation
or square or triangle.
That's exactly it.
So that's out this year. It's one of the few games that they'll probably be showing that's out this year. So hopefully we'll see a big chunk of that. Getting on to games that we won't see, Ratchet and Clank. I know there is a movie coming out next year. The game is also now been pushed till next year. Are you excited for that?
Apparently, people still care about Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah,
that's the thing that happens.
That's nice though.
Yeah, they've released. I think they haven't released one since what 2012 is Into the Nexus. That PS3 one.
I think. I mean, they had a bit of a decline in terms of like how fun they were as the developers were starting to look at other IPs. I reckon they got a bit bored of Ratchet and Clank. So I'm excited to see whether they can kind of rejuvenate the energy back into that franchise. It was always really creative with the weaponry and quite charming. The character's really fun, and it, like, as much as take the mickey of it, it actually works as an idea for an animated movie. Hopefully that movie actually delivers on what the game experience is. But I'll give the new one a shot.
All right, a game you really want or will be excited for, which might turn up at the Sony conference, Street Fighter 5.
Street Fighter 5. I'm like 99% sure that it's going to be there. Yeah. We're going to be seeing, I reckon we'll get a good display of mechanics now. Capcom's been quite cagey in what they show of it. I reckon they'll go into a little more detail here and maybe explain it. It's a Sony only game, not coming to Xbox, so I reckon they will give it a good amount of time. And if I were a betting man, I'd say we'd see some new characters there. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I have played it a bit, and there's like stuff videos about it up on the site, so you can see that.
Speaking of Sony only games, a game that's been a Sony exclusive as much as it's been a game that we don't know anything about. Are we going to see The Last Guardian at E3 2015? There's so many rumors about it almost being announced last year and then maybe just disappearing last minute.
Everyone's like, it's gone, and then they're like, no, it's gone. I mean, it's there. It's still there. It's still a thing. It's still a thing. But that's all we've heard. It's still a thing. Don't worry. But it's like, is it there?
Like the big rumor mills that were going around in the past month or so was Fallout 4, that there'll be a pre-E3 teaser, and then we'll see a trailer. And the other one that's been going around is that Last Guardian is going to be at E3 this year, and it also might get a 2015 release date. What do you guys think about that?
I think it's now or never for Sony. Like you're really pushing it now. People are kind of reaching the end of their tether with teasing, and it's still working. You can't say we're still working on it and continue to show nothing, because that's pretty much like vaporware at that point.
See, I don't mind that. I feel like you can take a really long time to make a game, but don't continue to tease it in the meantime. Like, I think if you want to take 10 years to make a game, take 10 years to make a game, and then tell me when it's coming out the year before or the year of. Don't continue to be like, oh yeah, maybe this year, maybe next year, maybe in 5 years. So I think if it's going to be anything, it's got to be you're going to get it this year or early next year. Otherwise, don't do it. And if they really are working on it, announce it when they're actually prepared for it.
Sony did say by its own account that the rest of 2015 is looking very, very thin from first-party perspective.
Absolutely.
Sparse.
Which means probably why they're not doing Gamescom, because they're like, we have nothing to say.
Which means, I mean, the chances of Last Guardian showing up this year might be thinking even.
There is a big gap. I mean, they could spring
stuff
something.
with indie games.
Actually, speaking of indie games, just thinking about all the games they showed off last year, Galaxy, Volume, Abzu, Wattam might be shown there, The Tomorrow Children, which has been playable in a bunch of stuff, The Witness might be getting a release date, Rhyme, everyone's going to the Rapture. Do you expect the same sort of indie push this year as well?
Oh, Sony love their indie things. I mean, they always dedicate a big chunk to indie games, which is what people love about Sony, and I think what people would really like to see Microsoft perhaps do a little bit more of. They've started to, but as far as the Sony games that are coming up, I really like the look of Abzu.
Yeah.
I think it's lovely. I like the visuals, I like the feeling, and obviously the journey, nostalgia,
it's interesting that
contribution.
So many of those indie games have like sort of bulkered or busted up the PlayStation's library while we're waiting for all those big games to come. Moving back into the big games, Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes, we're obviously going to see a bunch of that.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of it. I think that game's reached a stage where people just want it now, and it's difficult to make a big splash with it at this point. I'm excited about it. I'm a huge Metal Gear fan, but I kind of just want it now. I think what we're going to see is going to be around the stuff that, I mean, previews went up on sites. We've got a preview up of it.
Peter's got a great little
Peter's
preview.
done a great preview of it, and I reckon the stuff that he's talked about there is what we'll get to see in video form. So yeah, I reckon it's going to be exciting. It's good always to see it. The drama around it has kind of heightened the desire to see more about it. But yeah, I think it's just like, just put it out now. Just give it to us.
We're going to get that in the next couple of months as well. Another game coming out this year, there's been a bunch of rumor around this. I'm not sure if you guys have been wise to this, but I've heard some little birdies saying that Black Ops 3 might get that Sony exclusivity on.
Wow, moving from Microsoft.
Yeah, for like the early stuff. That'd be a big get, right?
You can see why they'd want to chase it.
I don't know, like it's obviously a big money maker, but it just seems like, it feels like Activision's trying to get their claws into someone else that's willing to, you know, support them for a little while longer. Call of Duty is on the wane, like whether you want to agree with that or not. It does, like from the sales perspective wise, it's kind of dropping little by little, So, but it's a good get for Sony regardless. I mean, DLC always sells well. Call of Duty continues to do well compared to most other franchises out there. So yeah, I think it's good. I always play Call of Duty. Sometimes begrudgingly, but, but it's kind of an obsession. Like, gotta get for it.
Any fans of the God of War series sitting on this couch right now?
I enjoyed God of War 2 a lot. I enjoyed God of War 1 a lot. God of War 3 was kind of like, you're starting to lose it now. And God of War Ascension was like, what are you even doing now?
The way, without getting into spoilers, I know it's been a while, but like God of War 3 kind of rounded off Kratos and most of Greek mythology pretty well. Maybe something new for God of War 4 this time around.
I mean, it's hidden by like a lot of the side games, but there's actually a lot of lore in the first 3 games that hints at side projects. And there's like I think it was God of War 1 or 2 where they actually find Pandora's box in like a modern era, which is kind of an interesting place to take it. I mean, Greek mythology, if you're going to retread it, the best thing to do is kind of like mash it up with something new and put a fresh perspective on it. So like if they Assassin's Creeded it and put classic stuff.
animus in my Kratos. Okay, so that's kind of a bunch of games that we already know or if we think might turn up. One of the interesting things about Sony's conference is that they've got a lot of first and second party studios connected to them who are working on something. We don't know what. Let's start with Quantic Dream. Lucy, do you think we'll see something this year from those crazy cats in France?
If it's not at E3, it's so going to be at the PlayStation Experience because what's David Cage been doing?
It's about time because it's been a while since Beyond now.
Aiden.
Yeah.
That killed me. Killed me. It's Aiden. But anyway, no, so I mean, David Cage is clearly working on something.
They had that tech demo. Remember?
What's the latest tech demo?
Yes.
Kara, yeah. That's
Oh yes,
The sorcerer dude, and it's like, that was the latest one, and it was like, is the new game going to have anything to do with that, or is that just the technology that they're going to work into it?
Because
But even
sometimes
that
they've been
came
close.
out a while ago now.
You're right, yeah.
So-
Like thematically, they sometimes rub up a little bit, but never the same exactly.
I would be surprised if we don't hear something soon from Quantic Dream.
Even if it's just a rumble, like a brief mention.
Yeah.
Oh, and for Quantic Dream, look out.
It'll be a video of David Cage saying, "Hi, I'm David Cage," and that's it.
Yeah. I'm making another game.
Yeah.
I think it's coming.
I'm still here.
Stories. I'm still trying to make it work. This is the Kara one, which ended up being
so
Beyond
wonderful.
Two Souls. But yeah.
Surprisingly, it bears a lot of similarities to Ex Machina, which just came out.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Alex Garland.
On a Bjork music video.
Yeah.
I mean, as well.
That's about right.
See, Jess gets the pull. Guerrilla Games, Killzone Shadowfall came out PS4 launch title. It was launched, right? Those guys must be working on something.
I'm sure lens flare technology has progressed, so they've got to be doing something with it.
Yeah, well, whatever they make, it's going to look great.
Yeah.
That's their jam.
I actually liked Shadowfall more than I liked any other Killzone game. I thought they sort of like.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm not a big Killzone fan. And Shadowfall wasn't wonderful. It was one of those. Oh, a first-person shooter is out on a launch console. I guess. I'll pick it up.
It gets the launch game pass a little bit.
Kind of in the same little realm. Yeah, this game looked absolutely.
It does
fantastic.
look stunning. Yeah.
Yep.
I think they do. It's good. It's good like press conference fodder as well.
That's the thing though with Killzone. It's like you remember you're playing it, and you kind of like, it was alright, and then you look at it and you're like, but it does look good though.
So long as they don't get sued over the graphics for the next one, they'll be doing that.
Exactly.
God, I forgot about that.
That'll be alright.
Similar enough, Sucker Punch, Infamous was another big sort of action game franchise which has been successful for them. Do you think we'll see something new out of those guys?
I don't think it will be another Infamous, you know?
Yeah,
Really?
I don't know. Yeah,
There was just something about I played Second Son.
Yeah, and then there was First Light as well.
And I played them and I was like, yeah, that's all right. But there just wasn't. It didn't scream out for a sequel. It felt like self-contained.
Yeah, I think they started when they dropped Cole and went on to a new character. It was kind of like, we'll try something new, and if it works really, if it's a resounding success, then it kind of it's worth pursuing. But it was kind of a bit tepid. I enjoyed it. I'm a fan of the Infamous series, but I'd rather see Sucker Punch do something else. Like they're really good at making platformer games. They made the Sly games, and so it's like you know that they've got ideas for something else, and it would be good for them to kind of break away. It's almost good that maybe Infamous Second Son wasn't a massive success. So they change their off, let them do something else.
Media Molecule are a company that we know really from one franchise, Little Big Planet, and then Tearaway's been doing a wonderful game on the PlayStation Vita. Do you think we'll see something new from them this year?
I don't know. I mean, they just did their little extra Tearaway.
Oh, Tearaway Unfolded?
Unfolded, yes. So that wasn't too long ago. So, I mean, I loved Tearaway.
Yeah.
So if they come out with something, like, I'll be ears perked.
There was news back in January that they were going to announce their new project some stage in 2015. Now, obviously, as we can see from all the announcements coming out this week and last week, E3 is pretty busy when it comes to announcements.
Yes.
So maybe for a team like them announcing their new IP doesn't work for E3?
Then again, like they're a company that Sony relies on to kind of push the technology that people might not be too keen on with some creativity and heart. So if Morpheus is on stage, like my bet is like if you're going to pick anyone to kind of show it off, you want Media Molecule, because then it kind of takes this is just some train that we're jumping on, and we've actually figured out something smart.
That's really interesting. Well, they made the Vita, like all of a sudden, hey, you know what? All those features that don't work for any other game, they're all amazing in Tearaway. If they could do that for Morpheus and make VR something that is attractive for people, that would be pretty cool.
They could like take that VR technology, which is kind of like alien to a lot of people, and just add some charm into it and make it more like friendly and appealing to the average
You're right, because
person.
it is quite a scary prospect.
Yeah,
Let's talk
it is.
about that for a second. On the hardware side, Project Morpheus, they've sort of been like, they've been playing it and teasing it and showing it, you know, piecemeal. At GDC here in San Francisco, they actually pushed it quite hard. I think everyone was pushing VR. All three of you want to talk. Lucy, first of all, do you think that they'll actually show Project Morpheus, and what do you think they need to show to like really get people on board?
Yeah, Morpheus is probably definitely going to be there. Like especially with Valve's VR making such a splash at the beginning of the year, Sony probably are going to show it just to be like, we're still in the game here.
Yeah. I think they've said they're going to, I'm not 100% sure, it's either E3 or Gamescom, but they're saying they're going to announce the official release date and the pricing of it at one of the two events. And yeah, Vive, whatever it is, Valve's thing.
Valve's VR. Valve's
Valve's
VR is
VR.
so much easier.
Valve VR.
Valve is not at E3s and they won't be showing it off, but obviously they've sent their VR device to other developers, so other developers might have it. Sony might take it as an opportunity to kind of, I mean, Oculus's event is prior to E3, but you know, Oculus is still like, of all the VR stuff, it's the most threatening and kind of overwhelming.
Absolutely.
But Sony could like sneak in there and kind of
I think this
everyone.
is really Sony's opportunity to do a big presentation for Morpheus. It's a really good time for it, and the buzz has been around for a while. Like they've made a whole bunch of announcements related to it. It is a very hard thing for them to try and demo on stage, which is the thing that might get in the way. But I think anything right now, like, because most people haven't had a chance to put a VR device on their head. And because of the Sony name, because it's connected to the PS4, which obviously has been selling really well, this would be a good opportunity to get a leg up on Valve and stuff like that, and be like, okay, well, we have this easy, very accessible, and from what I hear, quite comfortable VR headset.
Super light.
Really?
Yeah, so I think that is going to be their main jam.
It'll be very interesting to see the Sony booth, which is right behind the GameSpot booth, this year, to see how many demo stations they have for Morpheus, actually. Like exactly like what you said. It's getting it on people's heads is really the most important thing.
I'm really interested in seeing if they made any significant changes to it. Because obviously Valve's one is getting a lot of press for being kind of aware of your surroundings, and Oculus stuff leaked earlier today. Like they've got a little controller with it and some sort of base that keeps track of you. So like,
and in a weird way, that HoloLens stuff is starting to get good.
It's different enough.
Yeah.
It's unproven, but it's different enough to kind of demand its own conversation, separate from the other guys.
Okay, we've got a couple of little dregs left on our list of all the stuff that's happening at
Don't
E3.
say Vita.
I'm gonna.
don't you lump the Vita
Why
in
would
with
he say
dregs?
Vita? Sony's not going to. That's no point.
I love my Vita so much.
I love it too, but
man, they don't care. They don't care. Crossplay is the only thing. Cross-buy and cross-play are the only thing.
Persona. It's a Persona machine.
I played Destiny on my toilet once.
I played GTA on it once as well from my bedroom, and it was fucking terrible. Couldn't control. There's only not enough shoulder buttons to do anything. I was like, I had to touch the reach around pad or something.
I do remember reading an article somewhere of Sony predictions, and it was like, Sony will mention the Vita twice, and one will be accidentally. And I was like, yeah, probably.
All right, 3 things left then, and I'll ask all 3 of you one of them. Will we see a 1 terabyte PlayStation 4? Microsoft have announced one today.
No, I think Sony's made it pretty easy to just upgrade on your own, and it's, you know, you can jam a solid state hard drive in there. I think Sony's at that point where they're still working on bundles. Like, bundles are what they're pushing the console with, and they're ahead of Microsoft at the moment. That's going to annoy somebody out there. So they don't really have any incentive to kind of drop the price or create new SKUs or that kind of thing. And it's rare. Like, it's one of the first consoles I think Sony kind of nailed first time around. Like, they don't. I guess they could iterate on it again and create a slimmer
But they
version,
don't need to.
But they don't really need to. I reckon they could ride it out for a little while longer. If you want to upgrade, you can just do that yourself.
That's true.
There's a guide on
which you
GameSpot.
couldn't with the Xbox One. Lucy, Power Season 2 has been greenlit.
Oh my God.
How many times will they mention Powers at the Sony press conference?
I can't wait, because that was the thing that last year, I mean, that was the opportunity everyone took to pee. Was when like guy took to the stage for a solid 10 minutes to talk about Powers. And you know what? I'm sure it's a great TV show.
That guy is Brian Michael Bendis, and he's like one of the greatest comic creators on the world. And he's just like, you could see he was not there. Like,
no, it's just you don't need that much time for a TV show at a convention about video games. And you know what? Just to stick the knife in, I bet they'll do it again.
Yeah.
Or at least with a new TV show.
Or
We're like,
promoted, I guess.
Powers was so great.
And last one on the list here, I've actually got two. Gran Turismo, we'll probably see something. You can't have a Sony press conference without Polyphony Digital. And I had for you, Jess, Vita. How many times will they say the word Vita during the conference? We'll keep a running total. How many times?
I'm going to go for 8.
You don't get a go.
Oh,
4.
You don't get a go.
Because I think it's going to fall into, this is coming out for crossplay, PS4 and Vita.
Okay. 4 times. So if you want to tune into the Sony conference, we'll have it on GameSpot.com Monday, June 15th at 6 p.m. Pacific time. That's 2 a.m. if you're in the UK and Ireland. And the last thing I have on my list here is No Man's Sky. I have it from good authority. They won't be on the stage show, so we'll have to see them maybe off to the side.